Hello members, welcome to another webinar with Fitness Australia. I hope you're all staying safe in lockdown for those that are stuck in lockdown like myself and John. Just a bit of housekeeping before we kick off today. So just letting you all know that there'll be a webinar every day this week, which I'm sure most of you already do know. So in regards to this CC, so the full attendance will be required for the webinar today, and there'll be a quick survey at the end. So you just need to complete that in order to get it. But yeah, that'll be pretty much it. The CC will be added automatically to your CC diary after completing the survey over the next few days. So John, you can take it away whenever you're ready.
Great, thanks so much, Luke. And welcome everyone to building a converts. This is a pretty broad topic, and we're going to do our very, very best to cover it in the short space of time. So I'm going to be talking for around kind of 35 to 40 minutes, and then I'm going to leave at the end around sort of 10 to 15 minutes to answer any questions that you have. Obviously, with this many people, I can't keep track of the chat, so I do ask you if you could just keep your questions to the very end, and I'll do my best to work my way through all of the questions. But we had a little thing there just to get the chat going. Where's your favorite beach, and do you prefer to swim, run, surf, walk, play, bake? Just put that into the chat as we kick off today. So my name's John Tanner. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Social Media College. I'm also the creator and author of the Diploma of Social Media Marketing, as well as all of our courses that we offer here at Social Media College. And collectively, we've had over around 8,000 student enrollments. I like to think that I know a lot about a little bit about a lot when it comes to social media. So I've pretty much covered every social media platform, as well as all the principles associated with that. Email marketing, content creation, social media strategy, etc. And today is probably one of my favorite topics. We're talking about how do you actually make money from social media? And this has been a real evolution for us as a business over the years. Originally, when we started out, we really just focused on training people in how to be effective at social media. And what we found was a lot of people went out there and they were really successful on Instagram or Facebook or whatever social media platform that they were focused on. But then they sort of were asking, what's next? Well, so what? Like, how do I actually turn my followers into dollars? How do I build something out of this? How do I really kind of generate those, what we call kind of metrics that matter? And ultimately, all of the work that you do on social media will be in vain unless you have in place a way in which to convert that activity into traffic, into marketing leads, which is collecting email addresses, into sales leads, which are people who are genuinely interested in buying your product, and that's different to a marketing lead. Marketing lead is where you collect someone's email address, and just because they've given you their email address doesn't necessarily mean that they're interested in buying from you. It just means that they're interested in hearing more from you in terms of your marketing. Into sales leads, and then finally from sales leads, people who have expressed interest in working with you, into paying customers. And when we talk about conversion, we're really talking about those bottom three things. We're talking about generating marketing leads, we're talking about sales leads, and we're also talking about paying customers. And we want to try and avoid as much as possible the vanity metrics. Yes, it's great to have 10,000 Instagram followers or 100,000 Instagram followers. Yes, it's great that we get a ton of likes or reactions or people sharing our content or saving our Instagram posts or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, we're in this, we're in this to have make a living, and we're in this to make sure that we're building a business. And so we want to be focusing on those metrics that matter, traffic, leads, and paying customers. So today, what I'm going to be talking you through is how do you design a web funnel, right? How do we design a funnel that is able to move people from social media and then through your funnel in order to help you grow your business? And I want to start by just talking about what is a funnel, because you hear this term thrown around, and I want to just simplify it for you, because all it is just a series of web pages. That's all a funnel is. It's a series of web pages. And what we want to ensure with our series of web pages is that we always invite people to take the next step. So someone should always move through each step of our funnel so that progressively they become warmer, progressively they learn more about us and about what we do, and ideally kind of step straight through the funnel in one go. But as we all know, people get distracted. People will visit a particular web page and dog will bark, or there'll be a message that they receive, or something will happen and they get distracted, or potentially they come to the page and they've never seen or heard about you before and they just don't convert. And so what we want to do is make sure that we have a good strategy in place to nurture and remind people that don't take the actions that we want them to take. So we're going to start with traffic, right? We're going to build up a whole bunch of, build up our following on social media. And then eventually we want to somehow drive people through to your web asset, okay? So the first page that we're going to push them through is what's called an opt-in page. So people are going to click through to an opt-in page. And an opt-in page is a dedicated landing page, ideally. It can be one of the pages on your website, but a dedicated landing page where we offer something that people are willing to exchange their email address for. So I've got an example here, which is a monthly membership. So here, enter for your chance to win, right? And there's all manner of different things that you can potentially offer in exchange for that email address. And the reason why we start with just the email address is because it's the lowest friction, right? If you just push people from social media where they've been following you and learning more about you, and you push them through a page that says, hey, buy from me straight away, it's not going to convert anywhere near as well as if you push them through. If you offer something of value to them that all they have to do is exchange their email address for. And once you've got their email address, we're going to just gradually kind of build up. We're going to ask them more over time. So competitions is a good one. Another example we have here is a free 7-day pass, right? So things that are free that you can offer. And in fact, there's so many different things that you can offer on this particular opt-in page. It doesn't have to be the same stuff that you see, quite commonly in the fitness industry. You could do ebooks, you could do presentations, you can do video training as a very, very popular one. Tutorials, cheat sheets, podcasts, templates, case studies, and so on and so forth. There's a huge, huge list of potential lead magnets. And ultimately, you need to understand your audience best. You need to understand exactly what it is that's most likely to appeal to them, and then create a lead magnet that they're going to find absolutely irresistible, that they will think, geez, there's no way I'm not going to offer up my email address in order to receive this. And the more value that you add, the more likely they are to convert, to take that action that you want them to take. And so a question I often get asked is, should I be giving away everything that I know? Like if I'm a personal trainer, should I be telling them everything that they need to know about fitness and diet? And my answer, or how to go about setting up a training regime. And the answer is always yes. Because what you're trying to do with this lead magnet is you're not only trying to get their email address, but you're also trying to position your expertise. You're also trying to make sure that you show to them that you are the authority in your industry. And people are always going to want to work with you, regardless of how much information you give to them, because people don't just buy on knowledge, they buy on convenience, and they buy on they're time poor, and they want to work with the best person, the person most likely to help solve their problems. When it comes to best practice with your lead magnets, you want to make sure you solve a problem that your audience have. If you can identify exactly what it is that the challenges that they're facing in their lives, and you provide something of value to them that solves their problem, they're more likely to convert. You want to make sure it's practical and solution orientated. Tell them exactly the steps that they need to take to solve that particular problem. And of course, therefore being action focused. You want to have a consistent quality and value about it, right? If someone comes to one of your opt-in pages and they give you their email address, and you give them something that they could have just easily found on the internet in a blog article, then of course they're going to feel like that's not valuable enough for them. So you want to make sure that it is something of decent size that adds a lot of value to them. You want to make sure it's immediately accessible, like don't make people wait to receive it. And then finally, of course, you want to demonstrate your expertise and authority in whatever particular niche that you operate. Okay, we're going to do a very quick exercise. I'm going to give you guys about 2 or 3 minutes to do this. I want you to think about if you were to have an opt-in page, what is your offer on your opt-in page? What are you going to offer people that visit that particular page? And therefore, what lead magnet are you going to use? offer is what you're offering. Maybe it's like the top 10 nutritional recipes, and the lead magnet is how you package that up. Is that in a video training? Is it in an ebook? Whatever it is. So I want you guys just to write down. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do this. Just write down as many ideas as you possibly can. Don't worry that sometimes the best ideas come from the worst ones. So just brainstorm. What are you going to offer to people, and what lead magnet, how are you going to package that up and offer it to people? So I'll give you guys a quick 2 minutes to do that. And if you'd like to, you can share those ideas into the chat while we're doing this. Now, remember with this, guys, I was seeing a lot of like webinars, which is great, ebooks. Remember that, you know, we'll talk more about sales pages, but this is the kind of the least friction possible. So we want to kind of package it up. We're not trying to sell here. What we're trying to do is just add as much value as possible. The selling comes a bit later. Great, printed workout, free exercise video, very good. Nutritional diary. Good, kids self-defense, 3-week intro, very good. Free one-on-one session via Zoom, fantastic. Recipes and workouts, thanks guys. All right, we'll get about 30 more seconds. Just jot down as many ideas as you can, because you can actually test these. You can trial different offers and lead magnets to see which one will resonate best with your audience. 3 p.m. snack ideas, I would download that for sure. Great, thank you everyone for contributing so much into the chat. Okay, so now we've got traffic, we've driven them through to the opt-in page. The next thing will be to push them through to a sales page. And the difference between an opt-in page and a sales page is that a sales page is more salesy, right? Here you're starting to talk about what it is that you sell, what is your product, and providing people with a bunch of information, enough information that they can make an informed judgment about whether or not they want to buy from you. And here you can still offer something of value, like it might be that free, 7-day trial to your particular gym. And that's going to be different potentially to the offer that you had on the opt-in page. Remember, the first step is about collecting their email address. Once you have their email address, then you can push them. You should redirect them straight from that opt-in page to this sales page where they can take you up on that particular offer. Now, the thing to understand is that when people have opted into your particular offer, whatever that was, you can also get them to opt in on your website. So an opt-in page ideally is a landing page. And the difference between a landing page and a website, if we just jump back into that particular opt-in page, is that you see that there's no navigation across the top. That's usually the best way for you to see that you're on a landing page versus a website. And the other key distinguishing factor of a landing page is that there's usually a single clear call to action. There's really one thing that you're asking people to do. And the goal of a landing page is to get people to convert or they leave, right? One or the other. Whereas if you compare that to a website where there's lots of navigation, lots of different things that people can click on, lots of different things that people can do, and therefore, a myriad of different customer journeys that people can take. But nevertheless, everyone's going to have a website, of course. You're going to have a website because it's the static repository of information about you or your organization. And so there are numerous points on your website where you can also collect email addresses. So let's think about a website pop-up. And here's one I saw. I was looking at a pair of shoes on the Adidas website. Up pops, sign up and get 15% off your first offer. Okay, so the offer here is 15% off, and the lead magnet, how it's packaged, is a coupon that we're getting the people to use. And so there's so many different places that you can collect email addresses on your website. You've got the contact us forms, you've got live chat, you've got banners that you can put on the side of your web pages, you've got pop-ups, you've got banners across the top as well. So you want to, I like to describe pop-ups and locations that you can collect email addresses on your website like a hole with lots of boats. What you want to do is go around and make sure you identify where all those holes are and then patch them up, because that's going to really accelerate the growth of your email list. So once we have done that, we've got an opt-in page that's driving collection of emails, and we've also got a website that's doing the same thing. People who visit either the website or the opt-in page can then be retargeted. And what we do here is we install the, if you're using the Facebook ad platform, it's not the only one that has pixels, but what we can do is install a tracking pixel on this particular page. Now, this is becoming a little bit more challenging thanks to the Apple iOS changes, but still there's plenty of ways that we can go about doing this, okay? So you can install the tracking pixel, and what it means is that even if someone visits your opt-in page or your website, but doesn't convert, i.e. doesn't take the action that you want, such as offering up their email address, what you can then do is you can run retargeting ads. And the goal of the retargeting ads is to really kind of remind people. We're trying to get people to come back to take a particular action. So here's an example of a very, very simple fitness related ad, okay? And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to remind people, hey, you visited our site, maybe the dog barked, maybe your phone went off, maybe you had a meeting you got to rush to, maybe your kids started clamoring around your ankles, right? So whatever it is, the goal here is to try and get people back. And a common tactic that you see is people who visit a particular opt-in page or a web page, then you're just going to push them straight back to the sales page. So even if they didn't opt in, even if you didn't collect their particular email address, you just push them back to the sales page so they can learn more about your organization, what you offer, and potentially they're going to therefore want to work with you. Now, the other thing that we can do, and it's starting to get a little bit complicated, and this is why we like to release things one by one. The other thing that we can do, the other tool that we've got, I guess, in our arsenal in order to help convert traffic is email sequences. Now, email sequences are different to email campaigns. Let me just quickly explain the difference between the two. An email campaign is more your traditional broadcast email. This is where you have a list of people and you set up an email and you send it out to them. And you send it out to everyone at once at a particular time. An email sequence is a little bit different, and sometimes it's called an email automation. And what this is a series of emails that you set up to send out at predetermined frequencies, such as once every 2 days, that is triggered by a particular action on your page, such as someone downloading something or registering for a free webinar. And you want to be thinking about how do we harness the power of email sequences, because they have so many more benefits than email campaigns. Email campaigns are time consuming. You've got to set them up every single time. And don't get me wrong, it's a great way to drive web traffic. But the thing about an email sequence is that the return on the time you invest in it is going to be huge, because once you've set it up, it just works constantly. It's constantly serving people emails over time. And it's going to be based on the point at which that trigger event occurs. So if someone starts your ebook, downloads your ebook at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday, then the sequence is going to start at 10 o'clock on Saturday, and all the other emails are going to be sent based on when that first trigger event occurs. A very common email sequence that you see is what's called a nurture sequence. There's all manner of different sequences that you can offer. And it looks a little bit something like this. Okay, so let's just say that on your opt-in page, you have people log in for your free webinar on, how to lose 10 kilos in a month or something like that. I don't know, it's probably a bit too much, but you get the idea, right? Some type of webinar. Then on day one, the day after they get the login details for the webinar, day after they've attended the webinar, then they receive the first email. And here you're just trying to add value, to them. You're not trying to be salesy. Then 2 days later, you send another email, which is valuable in nature, right? You're just providing them with a bunch of information that's going to help them and help them solve their problems. Day 5, another value-based email. And then finally on day 7, in the 5th email that you've sent, you have some type of incentive. You dangle some type of carrot that is going to incentivize them to take action. Okay, and that action ideally is to get them to click back to your sales page. So you see what we're doing here with both retargeting and email sequences is we're trying to just kind of push people back into the funnel to get them to take the action that we originally wanted them to take. In an ideal world, people just kind of moved straight through, and people do that, but a lot of people get distracted along the way. So we're using both retargeting and email sequences to get people back and taking those actions that we want. Now, when we think about the sales page, so we talked a little bit about the sales page. This is where we're being a little bit more salesy. We're describing our product, the benefits that it offers, maybe providing some pricing and so forth. We want to be thinking about this concept of offers. And so often we get asked, how do we compete in this particular industry? We've got this ABC product. Let's just say you're selling protein bars, for example. Okay. And a protein bar now really is kind of a commodity, right? So when you think about a product, anything that can be compared to something else is really going to get commoditized, and therefore you're going to have to compete pretty aggressively on price in order to win business. What we instead want to be doing is we want to be thinking about offers, okay? And offers are how you bundle together various products, services, or information in order to create something that is unique, that no one else can offer. And we always say that offers are something that is unique and irresistible. And if you think about a florist, this is what florists have been doing for centuries. They take a collection of flowers and they put it together into something that is uniquely theirs. And then they're able to offer that at a price, which is a premium to what they would otherwise be selling those, bunches of, similar flowers together. So bundles allow you to charge more, right? Where you can put together an irresistible bundle, and they allow you to charge more and make single products look kind of more dull and boring. If you can put together a really, really amazing offer that kind of blows people's mind, then it's going to make single products kind of look a little bit dry, a little bit boring compared to what you've put together. So let's just think about what could you offer on your sales page. So build an offer for your sales page by combining 3 products or services or potentially information, right? So you could say, hey, you can get exclusive access to 10 hours of my fitness videos, and you only offer this to people that buy your particular product. So I'm going to give you guys another couple of minutes. I want you to write down 3 products, services, or potentially information that you can bundle together to create a really, really irresistible offer on your sales page. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to do this. And feel free to put those unique and irresistible bundles into the chat so that everyone else can see as well. And guys, just a reminder, we will be taking questions at the end. So please write down any questions that you have. Unfortunately, I can't keep track of any questions you're asking in the chat during the presentation, but I will do my best to answer any questions that you have. Good, here we go. Yoga class, you'll get a yoga mat with props and a bolster to start your yoga journey. Perfect. Here we go. Surf tone product, free workout videos. Ooh, lost that one pretty quickly. And a beach towel that's branded. Great. Branded product. No one else is going to be able to do that. Very good. Nutrition session, 2 training sessions for X. Good. Great. Some fantastic bundles coming through here. Good. And again, the purpose of these bundles is, nowadays you look at Amazon as particularly as a place where people can buy products online. It's got everything there. But, the thing about Amazon is it's static products, and they even get into this, right? They even have those recommendation engines down the bottom where they're recommending additional products, but you'll be able to add these, bundle these products together and create something that is uniquely yours, and therefore be able to charge a little bit of a premium for it. Okay, just 15 more seconds. Thank you to everyone who's contributing their offers. Great. So the next thing to talk about is what we call the last digital touch point. And the last digital touch point is the last action that someone will take digitally before becoming a paying customer. I've got a few examples coming up here with a gym membership, which should explain this, but there are a huge variety of different actions that people can take on a page online. And you really need to think about what is the last thing that you want someone to do online on the sales page on your particular funnel before becoming that paying customer. So I'll show you a few examples to explain this. A restaurant, it might be to make a booking. Chiropractor, it might be to book an appointment. For a university, it might be to submit an application. For an app, it might be to download the app. Interior designer might be to book a consultation. A builder, it might be request a quote. A software, some SaaS, it might be to start a free trial. And a personal trainer, it might be to book a free session. So let's just kind of demonstrate how this looks in the context of the funnel so that you can decide what is the last digital touch point? What is the last action that you want people to take on your page before becoming a paying customer? So let's just look at a gym membership. So if we look at the funnel map, here you have a gym which actually transacts online. They've set up a way in which for people to sign up to a free 7-day pass, and people can do that online. So of course, that's going to be the last, if you actually transact online, the last digital touch point you want before someone becomes a paying customer is for them actually to ideally become a customer. But the next best thing would be to start a trial of your particular product. So here there's a free 7-day pass that people can sign up to, and then it just pushes them through to a thank you page. Now let's compare that to a gym that doesn't transact online, right? A gym that only has the capability for people to sign up and maybe download a gym coupon or sign up for a free gym session. And in this case, this particular gym, what they do is they encourage people to have a free gym session. And then when people have come into the gym, that's where they're looking to sign them up. That's where they're looking to sign up new members after they've had that free gym session. So you can see that everyone's funnel is going to look a little bit different based upon how you go about selling, whatever your particular sales process is. So on your sales page, the key thing to remember is what is the last thing that you want people to do digitally before becoming a paying customer. And if you transact offline, just understand that that's where you're actually going to complete your sale, not necessarily online. So let's just do a quick exercise. What is the last action you want a prospect to take before becoming a paying customer? Just ignore that groups of 4. Okay, I'm going to give you guys, let's just say a minute or so to think about what's the last action that you want a prospect to take before becoming a paying customer. And please also share those into the chat. We'll get that going. Good. It's a lot of book a consultation or sign up to a free trial, book a free personal training session. Good. Trial the product. Fill in their contact details. Maybe just submit an inquiry. Very good. Fill out a health assessment form. Book a free session. Great. Good. Just 10, 15 more seconds. Thank you, everyone. Far too many responses for me to keep track of, but looks like some great ones coming through there. Okay. Now, just finally, just a quick chat about software. So there's a huge variety of software that you guys can use to help build your landing pages and also conduct your email marketing. But I want to just quickly talk about some of the leading ones out there and some that you might consider using. The first is this bucket of tools now, software that's called marketing automation. What is marketing automation? What marketing automation really is just a combination of a whole bunch of software. So a software that does a lot of stuff together. And ones like MailChimp, which originally was an email marketing software, but has evolved over time into one that offers the ability to build landing pages and do a bunch of other stuff. So MailChimp's done a great job there and is very well known and has some great resources online. ClickFunnels is one that is really kind of rising to prominence, and they have a lot of great templates that you can use to step out. So you can actually jump in there and find if you're a personal trainer, someone has already built a personal training funnel and they've already built the series of web pages. You just need to go in there and alter it how you want. ActiveCampaign is one that we use here at Social Media College. It's fantastic. It helps you manage your CRM. It helps you, you can build landing pages on it, although we don't use it for that. Helps you with your email lists and all your email marketing and a bunch of other stuff. And then finally, Hubspot. Hubspot is also a very well-known marketing automation tool that we used to use. We jumped over to ActiveCampaign. Landing page builders, you've got ones, these are dedicated software to help you build landing pages. Some well-known ones are ones like Instapage and Unbounce. Website builders, well, about 40% of the internet is built on WordPress, and most people know that. However, there are ones that have really risen to prominence in recent years, such as Wix, Squarespace, and Duda. Now, all of these now, you don't need to know any coding to go in and build a website or a landing page. It's all non-coding based, and it's just getting far and more easier and easier to go in and build website pages very, very quickly. E-commerce, of course, Shopify is the largest. WooCommerce, BigCommerce as well. You've got pop-up software. So there is particular software that's dedicated to helping you convert more of your web traffic. If blogging is something that you're doing, SEO optimizing content and putting it up on your blog, then you want to make sure that you're converting a proportion of that traffic into email addresses, into marketing leads. So things like Opt-in Monster, Convertful, and Wishpond are software that you can use to help maximize the number of email addresses that you collect. And then WordPress plugins. There's a bunch of plugins you can add to your WordPress, like Thrive Leads, Convert Plus, Ninja Pop-ups, that do the same thing, that are trying to build your email list as much as possible. Now, we talk a lot about I've talked a lot about email marketing and the importance of it. And the reason why we are so big on email marketing is that if you compare it to other social media platforms, people spend a lot of time focused on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, trying to build up on those networks. But with an email list, I want you to think about email marketing as your own social media platform that you don't have to pay the other social media platforms to access. And the average open rates on an email is about 20%. Now, if you compare that to the organic reach of, say, a Facebook post, which is about 4%, or an Instagram post in the feed now, which is only about 6 or 7, then you see that the organic reach, your ability to reach people with email, is so much higher. And not only that, even if they don't open the email, they get that little, they'll see it pop into their inbox. So the email is a very, very intimate space, and your social media marketing will be so much more effective if you're combining it with email marketing. I talked a little bit, no need to build a web asset from scratch. There are so many different templates that you can choose from, and these are conversion rate optimized, which means that someone's already gone through the rigmarole of testing whether or not it converts or not. If you build something from scratch, there's always a risk that it's not going to convert, which means that all the effort that you put into it will be lost. Not only are there templates for individual pages, whether that's a landing page or a page on your website, there are also now templates for funnels. And that's what I was talking about with ClickFunnels, which is also a software that we use, where they've put together a series of pages to maximize the number of people that enter into that funnel and work their way, straight through in one go. So use templates, they're there. All you need to do is go in, change the colors, change the fonts, add the imagery that reflects your brand identity, and then you're going to have something ready to go. Now, that being said, it's always the copy, right? So you can build something that looks really, really nice, but ultimately what you are offering on that page and how you go about describing that offer is going to have a far bigger impact on your conversion rates than necessarily just the design. So don't get too hung up on design. Think about, what are you offering? If people aren't taking the actions that you want, then something in the way in which your copy is just the words that persuade, which is different to content, right? Content is just a transfer of information. Copy is about the marketing language that you use to describe what you're offering on your page. So if people aren't converting, it's usually because you haven't described it properly, or you haven't described it well enough to compel people to take the action that you want. There's also some great software that you can use. Obviously, you saw it gets a little bit complicated with the funnel mapping software. So there's things like Funnelytics or Guru, which is one that we've used, and a bunch of other ones where you can go through and you can actually kind of map the customer journey, go through and map the customer journey and see each step along the way what sort of conversion rate you need in order to achieve the objectives that you want. So it's well worth checking this out. Just makes it easier than kind of scribbling it all down over paper. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is this concept of social proof. And sometimes these are called risk reducers. And you want to make sure that you are using this to the best of your ability, that you write down all of the ways in which you can increase your credibility on your web assets by adding social proof. And this can be things like testimonial video. These can be things like testimonial videos. It could be quotes from your customers. It could be media publications that you've been featured on. It could be some notable customers that you have, or the total number of customers that you've had over time. It could be partnerships that you currently have, your organization have, or you have as an individual. It can be your social media accounts, so showing how big your following is on social media accounts. It can be reviews that you've had online. Guarantees is a really great one. You know, money back guarantees is a great way to reduce the perceived risks in people's mind about what you offer. Free trials, of course, case studies, awards, LinkedIn recommendations, photos of you speaking in front of a crowd, or photos of you training a huge number of people or something like that is a good credibility builder. Photos with famous people, you see this bit gimmicky. Endorsements from famous people as well. Pictures of happy customers is always a great one as well. So you see here, there's lots of different things. And my advice to you is this: spend the time to brainstorm, to write down as many of these things as you can. And you want to put this stuff on your website. And a great approach to building your pages is to actually have content and then social proof, and then content and then social proof, and then content and social proof. But ideally, you want to put your top social proof directly below the top of your website, which is called the above the fold. The section that people see when they first hit your website is called the above the fold, without having to scroll down. But as soon as they scroll down, you want to hit them with some social proof. Our view is that video testimonials are the #1 social proof. If you can get people on camera, it doesn't need to be fancy, it doesn't need to be high production value. Using it with a smartphone is fine. If you can get people on camera talking about how fantastic you or your organization are, and that what you offer is generating them a really, really great return, that stuff is dynamite. That is real conversion rate dynamite. You want to put that stuff front and center on your web assets. So let's just do a last quick exercise. I want you to do a quick brainstorm, write down as much stuff. Don't stop to edit it or anything like that. I just want you to write, what social proof can you use on your web pages? I want to write down as many ideas that you can think of, and then rank them best based on the impact to your particular audience. Okay, I'll put the list back up on the screen, but we're going to spend about 3 minutes, last 3 minutes, just writing down as much social proof as you possibly can. And for those who'd like to contribute, you can just share that, maybe share your top 3 ranked from 1 to 3 into the chat as we go through there. I've sent a few questions, just guys, there's a lot of comments coming through. Unfortunately, I can't keep track of the questions as they're coming through, but I will be switching over to questions in just a second. So if I can just ask you to reserve your questions until then, that would be great. So we're writing down all the social proof that your organization could use, and then we're going to rank it from 1 to whatever based on the impact that it's likely to have to your particular audience. All right, here we go. Thanks, Camilla. Said presenting fitness on the morning show, very good. 2, teaching yoga in Thailand, great. 3, big corporate sessions, fantastic. Paul said testimonials, before and after photos, great. Video of boot camps, good. Christine said free trial, 2 happy customers, 3 online reviews. Good. Thank you so much. Ellen said interviews with clients and goal setting strategies, success stories, injury recovery samples. Very good. Okay. So just 1 more minute. Remember, the exercise here is to think about all of the social proof that you could offer on your web pages, and I want you to rank it from 1 to whatever you get to in terms of the impact that it's likely to have on your audience. And guess what, guys? If you go out and make this content, you might not have this content yet, but if you go out there and create it, you can also use it on social media. You can also share this stuff to social media, you know, on your web pages. You can even send it out via email. So there's lots of ways you can repurpose this content to help, you know, convince people. This stuff's great for Instagram stories. You can just pump this stuff out constantly. Good photos of the team. Caroline said videos of satisfied customers. Good. 2 group sessions, 3 photos. Very good. All right, just about 20 more seconds. Okay, guys, we'll leave it there. Please connect through to us. We'd love to have you guys as part of our social media networks. You can always jump in and sign up to our email list. We send out a ton of valuable content, or find us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. Now, what I'm going to do is hand over to you guys. I want to hear from you. I haven't been following the chat in terms of questions, but I will now put it up in front of me. So I will attempt to answer as many questions as I can. So if you do have a question, please put it up just on the screen here, and I will answer it for you. So Kaz asks, how recent does the social proof have to be? Not that recent. You know, I think it's like, at the end of the day, if you're still doing the same thing, all right, we never want to deceive people online, because people are pretty wise up to that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, if you're a personal trainer and you added value to people 5 years ago, and you've got a video testimonial of them from 5 years ago, that to me, that's totally fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because if you added value to them 5 years ago, you're probably adding 10 times as much value today, because your experience is so much greater. So hopefully that answers your question. Dixon asks, how important is a social media presence if most of my clients are members of the gym? It's kind of up to you. Like, our advice is always that you are better off focused on 1 or 2 social media platforms than trying to spread yourself really, really thin across a lot of them. Some people use social media to generate leads and generate traffic for their business. Other people use social media as a conversion tool. Other people use social media purely as a way in which to nurture their existing clients, you know, as a way in which to bolster the community that they have with them. So it's really kind of up to you to decide. But, you know, social media is just this wonderful medium for you to establish and maintain a network of people, and, you know, therefore be able to grow your business. Great. So if you've got any questions, please put them through the chat. Larissa asks, how important is it to target specific demographics through social media stories? I'm not sure. You can't, Larissa, you can't actually target people with social with your stories. Our advice is, you know, one of the best things you can do for the algorithm with stories is just constantly be sharing them. So constantly be sharing your stories, and it doesn't really matter if you're kind of chopping up, you know, the content that you're moving between. There's so many different things. There's so many different ideas you can share to your stories. So yeah, it doesn't really matter if you post a story one day that doesn't really talk to another demographic. I think it ultimately kind of describes what you do. Hopefully that answers your question. Camilla, can you share some good fitness wellbeing pages to review, follow that have a good funnel system? Camilla, I'm going to have to follow up on that one. The emphasis there was your word, was the word good. I think the challenge with, like, you can look at a funnel and go, wow, this looks really good, but the only people that know the conversion rates behind it are the ones that actually own that particular funnel. And so I'm happy to dig up a few and go, wow, this looks really good. The other thing I can do is probably templates that you might want to look at on something like ClickFunnels. Angela asks, what if your clients are not this social media generation? They're on Facebook. My mum is the most avid Facebook user, and everyone I know's mums is the most avid Facebook user. The boomer generation are the fastest growing and most Facebook. So they are there. They're just on Facebook, and maybe you're on Instagram. So you just need to switch the social media platform that you're on. Are there any stats on the benefits of employing a specialist social media specialist rather than spending your own time doing it, i.e. costs versus benefits? Look, there's so many people out there. We train a lot of people who are looking to become social media freelancers or agencies or consultants. And our advice is always make sure you know how to do it yourself before you go and hire someone else to do it, because otherwise you're just going to bring in someone and say, hey, I want you to do this for me, but you're going to have no idea what they're actually doing. So you want to make sure you upskill yourself sufficiently that you're capable of managing them. So just because you know how to do it doesn't mean you will do it. It just means that you're better off. You're going to be able to hold someone accountable, whoever's doing that. So hopefully that answers. Are there any specific stats on it? Not that I'm aware of, probably. Yeah, probably just jump in online and have a good look at that. What are your thoughts on creating a public profile on Facebook to nurture and create business? Yeah, look, I mean, it can definitely be a strategy. I'm just talking back to, depends who you're targeting, okay? So it doesn't hurt to have a public profile on Facebook, because it means that more, for those of you who don't know, when you have a public profile on Facebook, it's kind of like having a Facebook page, more like an Instagram account that people can follow. We promote the concept of pillar content, and that's where if you capture a long form, let's just say, just continue with the personal trainer, let's just say you bring a videographer down to film one of your personal training or group personal training sessions, and you film that for an hour. You get a videographer down and they shoot all this great footage, right? What you want to do then is chop that up into lots of bits of micro content, and then really just use social media as a distribution platform. This is where you're going to, farm out all that content. And so a Facebook public page could be another extension of the content that you're creating with that. So yeah, I mean, it's going to, whether or not you have a Facebook public page or an Instagram account or a LinkedIn profile or a YouTube channel. I mean, ultimately, it's about where do you think your audience is best placed. Can I put the funnel in Wix? Yes, Wix has, absolutely. Wix has funnel, and they have funnel templates now, I believe, as well. Ultimately, don't get too confused by funnels. Funnels are just a series of pages, one after the other. So if you build 3 pages in Wix, all you have to do is just direct. As soon as someone does something on this page, you just direct them to this page. And as soon as someone does something on this page, you just direct them to that page. Like, it's just, all a funnel is just a series of pages after each other. Tips on how to reconnect with ex-members from a gym and fitness membership base. So I'd be using paid ads for that. So you can upload a customer list into Facebook to create a custom audience, and then you can target those people with the ads. So that's how I'd be doing it. If you've got the budget. If you don't have the budget, then, I mean, not sure if you've got their email addresses, I'd be trying to reconnect with them via email, or I guess the other way would be that you're going to need to kind of go and identify them on social media and try to engage them, do a bit of outbound engagement to re-engage with them. So hopefully that helps. So a question here from Abby. I used to have a funnel system, and I found that it was taking a lot of time to create and follow up, and it was not converting. Is there a done-for-you funneling system I can purchase that does all this for me with simple branding I can add? Yeah, look, ClickFunnels, I'm not sure what you were using, but yeah, ClickFunnels is probably the simplest one to use to create a funnel, and they're going to have a lot of fitness-based funnels that you can go in there and have a look at. And then if you want to, you can always engage someone to help you kind of put that together. But you kind of need to, you do need to do it yourself. Like, we always recommend that, the head of the organization should be the one that's doing the copy, that's writing it, because no one's going to understand the audiences better than that person. And if that's you, Abby, then you do need to be doing it. And it does take time. Like, it does take time to set up, but certainly it's getting a lot easier over time. The other 2 tips I would give you, if it's not converting, it's usually the copy. So think about the language. So you can always potentially engage a copywriter to try and help improve that. And the second thing is, nowadays you can do a lot of testing on these pages. You can A/B test, which is where you show 2 elements. You might have a button that's orange and a button, and then you test a button that's green, and you're able to, and the software will automatically work out which one has a better conversion rate once the sample size is large enough. and then it will automatically use that. If the green one won, then it will automatically use the green button from that point onwards, and then you launch into a new test. But you got to make sure you're testing things one at a time. Don't run multiple tests at once, otherwise you won't know which element improved. So there's a couple of tips for improving your conversion rate. Can people share their Insta here? Would love to connect with like-minded people. So Laura's called out to everyone to chuck their Instagram profile into the chat so you guys can all connect with each other. Good on you, Laura. Mandy, do you run online courses to learn about social media? Absolutely. We're a social media college. Yeah, we've got a ton of stuff. So just jump on our website and you can, and I believe we're going to be sending a follow-up email, which has a little bit more information about some of our courses. Do you think it's important to use an ad-free website platform to look more professional? Yes. Pamela, if you want the clients back, sorry, Michaela, yeah, that's just a clear yes. You don't want to have ads on your site. I just think it looks it, and unless you are like a sydneymorningherald.com.au where you've got so much traffic, you're not going to make any money from having ads on your site anyway. So yeah, I think it's going to look a lot more professional. Ultimately, if there's something distracting, that's why we use dedicated landing pages. And the reason we use dedicated landing pages is because we want people to either convert or leave. And if you've got like a conversion here and then you've got an ad on the side that's distracting people, I mean, that's just going to mean that less people are taking the actions that you want them to take on your website. So I'm a definitely big no to having ads on your site. Do you think it's important to use an ad? Sorry, it was another one. If you want the clients back, then try a personal phone call. Not sure what that relates to. How important are hashtags? Funny you should say this. So the head of, at the moment, yes, like if you jump onto our YouTube channel, we've got, just type in social media college Instagram hashtags. There's a video from me just talking about how to strategically select the best hashtags. They're only really relevant to the feed because the IGTV videos and reels can be shared into the feed. When it comes to reels, which is just like so hot right now, like if you think about what Instagram is doing, they're trying to blunt the growth of TikTok, and it's just launched in Australia as well, which is another short form video thing. But like TikTok, the reason why TikTok's going so well is because it's just got this insanely good recommendation engine. Like the algorithm is really good at recommending content to you. And the head of Instagram actually came out about 4 weeks ago, and he's talking about what's coming next for Instagram. What they're going to start doing is they're going to start showing at the moment in the feed, in your Instagram feed, in feed statuses, or it can contain reels or IGTV videos. In the feed at the moment, it's prominently from people who you follow. And what Instagram, the head of Instagram came out the other day and he said, we're going to start recommending content within the feed. And this to me is that they're going to go the way that, TikTok and what they've done with reels in the feed, which is therefore going to reduce reliance on hashtags. Long-winded way of saying that there's going to be a reduced reliance on hashtags, I believe, coming up, which is a good thing. For me, hashtags are just admin. It's just annoying having to go through and come up with like 30 hashtags and strategically select the ones that you want to get onto the top posts. So I think that's probably going to be a good thing. But at the moment, like if you ask me at the moment, yeah, hashtags are important for anything that you're sharing to the feed. Okay. Good. People sharing their Instagram accounts. Good on you guys. All right. How often do you have to post on social media? Daily. Like the reality is, I mean, I know a lot of you guys use Instagram, so I'll talk about it from an Instagram perspective, but the algorithms reward consistency. If you think about the whole purpose of a social media platform, they're a business and they're a business to make money. And they want to sell more ads. And the way they sell more ads is to get people, just to keep people on the app longer, keep people on the social media app longer, and also make them log into the app more frequently during the day. So what they do is they reward content and creators of that content who share really, really great content with reach. Like that's their incentive. The incentive for businesses is that say, hey, you can grow a business for free organically as long as the content that you share on the platform is really, really good. And Instagram wants to, all of the social media platforms incentivize their users to create great content. And every algorithm, regardless of which social media platform that you're on, will reward consistency. They want to see you posting content on a daily basis. So how do you do that? Like, how do you manage posting to social media daily? Well, you've got to, at number one, break away from this mindset. You have to be posting about what's happening right now. You don't. Like, there's nothing wrong with sharing a piece of content that's a year or two old. The second is that, as long as it's still relevant, the second is that you want to bulk produce the content. You don't want to be wandering around with your smartphone every day trying to share today. You want to create once. So we usually recommend create 3 months worth of content all in the one go. And ideally it's that long form video content that you can capture and not create, right? You're already, everyone day to day, you're all content creators. You're just not capturing that. You're just not putting a camera on it. So think about how do you capture long form content and then get someone, you know, offshore just to chop that up into lots of little pieces. And then finally use a scheduling software. So Facebook has Creator Studio, which allows you to schedule posts in advance. So you can create 3 months worth of content, use something like Canva, which is a really, really easy graphic design tool, and then use something like Creator Studio or Hootsuite or Later or a ton of the other ones, Sprout Social, and then you want to schedule your posts in advance, okay? And that's what's going to give you the consistency. It's going to be much less stressful. It's usually cheaper to do that. It's usually quicker to do that. So that's how you're able to post more frequently on social media. I'm in Melbourne and my motivation is very low due to all the lockdowns. Any tips on motivation? Anyone, for me included? I'm assuming you're talking about yourself. Look, I think you know, we've seen this already. There is a way out, and there will be an end to what we're currently going through. I'm here in Sydney. We're locked down as well, right? So everyone's feeling it, and I think now more than ever is the time for community, and the people that are investing now, the people that are planting the seeds now for when things do return to normal are going to be the ones that come out of this the strongest. Okay, so if you're low on motivation at the moment, this is kind of the reset, right? Because what comes out of this is that people will kind of emerge and they're going to want to engage with fitness-based products again. Okay, and this is when if you're adding the value now, right? If you're kind of, and understanding what other people are going through, like, so you're not just the one feeling it, Helen. You know, other people are feeling the same way, and so if you can provide value to them and help them with content that addresses how they're feeling, so perhaps some of your content needs to talk to and show your human side and tell them about what you're going through and how you recommend that they, you know, navigate this particular period, then you're going to build a really, really close connection with these people. And then when it comes time for you to go, hey, you know, now I want to tell you about what I do and what I offer, then they're going to be far more likely to want to work with you than someone who hasn't done that, who's just gone quiet during this period. So that's going to be my tip for motivation, and it will come to an end. I promise you, Helen. It's I've got 2 brothers over in San Francisco, and they've, I mean, compared to what we've been through compared to what they've been through, and, you know, they're now coming out of it, but unfortunately we're sort of dipping, but you know, it will end eventually. Hopefully that helps. Luke's just done a shout out about the virtual lounge. He's included the link in there, which will go afterwards. Great, look at all these Instagram accounts shared. So I'm not sure that was a question, Kaz. Oh, Kaz said, look, I don't know about anyone else, but being in health fitness for over 20 years, I feel embarrassed that I have a lack of motivation, and how do I offer advice when I probably need it too? I don't think you need to feel embarrassed about that. I think you just need to, you know, tell your story. I mean, social media is this incredible storytelling platform, and it also is this way in which you can show your human side. And I think people are scared. You know, you look at Instagram, it's just like this picture perfect, you know, collage of images and everything like that. I think at the end of the day, there are, share your story. And in stories, that's why it's called stories. I don't think there's anything wrong with telling people how you're feeling and, the challenges that they're going through, and, talk to people about how you're managing and how you would recommend that they manage as well. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. What was the app you suggested to plan 3 months of Instagram posts? There are so many scheduling softwares now. It's crazy. There must be hundreds, if not thousands of them. The top two probably most widely used and well-known is Hootsuite and Sprout Social. There's Buffer as well. But there's Later is one that's really kind of focused on Instagram. There's like Ecommerce, Hopper HQ, Plan, Planoly, the list goes on. And then you've got Facebook's Creator Studio, which is a free tool offered by Facebook. And the only downside to that, it's pretty good, like it does the job. The only downside to that is that you, if you're sharing content, say across LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitter, then Creator Studio is only going to do Facebook and Instagram. It's not going to do the other platforms as well. Whereas if you go for something like Hootsuite, it's going to cover a lot more platforms that's there. But they all offer a free trial, so you can just jump in there and test them to see which one. Yeah. Laura said, never be afraid of being vulnerable online. I totally agree, Laura. It teaches others that it's okay too, and that they are alone. Very good. Thanks, Alan, as well. Telling your story is being genuine, and people want genuine, so they understand. I just couldn't agree more. Can you repeat those different planners, please? Sorry, I did say them a bit fast. So the two most well-known, most widely used ones are Hootsuite and Sprout Social. I don't think you're going to go wrong with either of those. My personal favorite for Instagram is one called Later, but there are many, many others that you can use, such as Ecommerce. Hopper HQ is one that we've used in the past, which is great. There's Plan, P-L-A-N-N. There's Planoly. There's Just trying to think of the other ones, and lots more. If what you can do actually is, if you type in social media management software and then to a website called g2.com, where you'll see one of the top results, it actually compares the grid that compares them by the number of market presence, which is essentially a number of people it uses, versus satisfaction. So you can kind of see the ones in the top right corner, lots of people use and that they're really, really happy with. And that's where you kind of get that view that Hootsuite and Sprout Social are the top ones. Sorry, I just got a message saying my internet connection is a little bit unstable. Okay, thank you, Michael, saying some lovely, kind words about the thing. And look at all these lovely messages of support for people about showing their human side, telling stories on social media and showing your human side. I think it's fantastic. Great. Look, okay, fantastic. Good. Thank you. All the wonderful, kind words that everyone is saying. Now, we do have that virtual lounge that you guys can move over into. So the link was included by Luke for that. Hopefully you guys got a ton of valuable information. Wow, thank you so much. I'm really humbled by all these kind words that you guys are putting into the comments. I really, really appreciate it. And love to help you guys out at obviously what is a challenging time for the fitness industry. And I'll just leave you with that. It's going to end, guys, but plant the seeds now, because those that do are the ones that are going to come out of this the strongest. Wishing you all a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time.